Good morning, sir, to the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, Sean Tindell. What's happening?
Woo, we've been busy at the Mississippi Department of Public Safety.
I see that. You don't slow down during the holidays.
No. That's
As a matter of fact, you ramp up.
That's one thing I learned real quick. When you're working in law enforcement, it's a job that never sleeps. And kudos to the men and women out there that do everything they can to make Mississippi safer, because it's a struggle for their families. It's a struggle for them, but it's rewarding, but it takes a heavy toll. So I appreciate them.
Guess a little bit for you personally. It's almost like football player retiring, going to the broadcast booth. His schedule is a little bit different, but about this time of the year, you're making plans because January's coming up and you got the legislature. And when you have a business or you're working one way or the other, you got to make those plans. And you got to set all of that thing aside. Now it never stops. It's just a regular job.
Well, that's it. Look, and it's a little bit of everything there. Of course, we're dealing with legislation that's coming up for the next session. We're, doing the things that the officers do each and every day. We're trying to fix some deficiencies we've had. And so it's been a busy time, but a good time. And I think our brightest days are ahead.
All right, tell me about these hires in the press release yesterday.
Well, we're making some changes at the medical examiner's office. I know that's something a lot of people don't really think of when they think of the Department of Public Safety, but the medical examiner's office oversees autopsies in the states, particularly in criminal cases and homicides. And the medical examiners are the ones that do the autopsies in murder cases, and then eventually they'll go testify in trial as to the cause and manner of death. And but it's not just that. It's also other questionable deaths that the coroners might send to the ME's office for an autopsy. And so it's dealing with life insurance policies and things like that are also being determined. Might be some civil litigation. So they do a lot, and it's usually at a time when it's one of the most trying times for a family when they've lost a family member. And we've had some backlogs. We've had autopsy reports that have been outstanding since 2011. So we've been trying to put some policies and procedures together to eliminate the backlog and then make sure that it doesn't happen again.
You've hired a deputy medical examiner?
We've hired a deputy medical examiner, and we've appointed a new chief medical examiner for the first time in Mississippi history.
So some of these are new positions?
They're new positions. Dr. Stacy Turner will be the chief medical examiner for the state of Mississippi.
She comes from where?
She comes from Alabama. She was a deputy chief over there. She's been here for about 2 years now. She served as interim chief. And she's just done an excellent job. Is kind of like me in a sense of she's looking to solve the problems, and we've been working well together, thinking of different ways that we can eliminate that backlog. We also hired a new medical examiner, a deputy medical examiner, Dr. Robeson. Joined us from Michigan, came all the way down here to the south. And
wow.
I'm proud to have her on board.
She understands what summers are like, I hope.
Well, she got a little taste when she came and visited. I think she liked it. I think she'll take it over those cold Michigan winters.
Yeah, well, Ross Barnett is not quite as big as Lake Michigan, so she's going to have to get used to that, too.
No, but the food's a lot better, so I think she'll be happy.
No doubt about that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 death investigators.
Yes. That was something that in the 2020 legislative session and the 2021 legislative session, we worked on with appropriations and with authorization through statute for the ME's office to have death investigators. And these are highly trained individuals that don't rise to the level of a doctor, but they can assist the pathologists in performing the autopsies, and then they can coordinate and work with local law enforcement and coroners on trying to help get the death certificates and autopsies issued.
So how many total death investigators do we have now?
We have 4.
So those will be the 4. Are they strategically located across the state, or how does that work?
Right now we have 2 on the coast, and we have 2 in Jackson. And going forward, we'd like to add a couple of more, as well as some, they call them pathology assistants, which are assistant nurse practitioners or physician assistants, and they can really do a lot of stuff. And Tulane has a program, so we're looking to hire those. Eventually, I'd love to see us have an ME's office in the north part of the state. We have one on the coast now. We've got the one in central Mississippi in Jackson, and would love to see us have an office in North Mississippi.
John, for people who don't know, when are they called out as the official need of a death investigator?
Well, of course, we have a coroner system in Mississippi, and each county has a coroner, and a coroner is basically in charge of the death scene. whenever there's a murder, and so they're in charge of the body. In situations where those coroners might need assistance, we want our death investigators to be available to come out there and assist them and assist law enforcement with the death investigation. A lot of what they'll be doing, it will be internally at the ME's office, working with the pathologists should they need additional information about the investigation.
They're going to be called to court too, will they not?
They will be. They will be. And so they'll have that training. They've had that training. If you look at the credentials of the ones that we've hired, they've got a background in the medical side, and so they're going to be trained and available to testify in jury trials.
This just jogged my memory, and it's been quite a while ago, but I just thought about it. Somebody stopped me and said that an unmarked policeman stopped them, tried to give them a ticket, and it was almost a brouhaha. But I finally found out it was a constable, and this person was not from Mississippi. They could not understand this, and I thought, I don't know a lot about constables. How that happened, and do most other states have constables?
That's a good question. Of course, I know it's one of those
Why
things.
do we have constables?
I think it's one of those things that's in our Mississippi Constitution, kind of like coroners, and they're established there. And so it's a constable, primarily is serving warrants in the counties.
But can they write tickets too?
I think that's a good question.
Whose jurisdiction are they under?
They are under their own jurisdiction, and they are in each county. And they have their own beats.
They don't answer to anybody but the mayor or the board of supervisors.
They don't answer. They're elected officials.
They're elected officials.
They answer to themselves.
So they're kind of their own county sheriff.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I don't think that they don't have the same arrest authorities that the sheriff would have.
But they can. They can't arrest anybody.
I don't think they can arrest anybody.
But it sounds like we're not real sure about what the hell they do.
But they can kick you out of your apartment.
I know
they can kick you out of your apartment.
They serve
warrants,
and they serve a lot of warrants.
All right. It's just very interesting, though, and now you may be even more curious that we don't know that much about constables.
I probably got it all wrong. I do know that my uncle was a constable in Stone County,
no kidding.
So we used to get a lot of beer that he seized from young people.
What are the rules and regulations as far as their vehicles are concerned? Because one of the problems was the vehicle that had a blue light on it, but other than that, there was no markings on it. And in this day and time, it's a little bit suspect.
It's an interesting system. I know in Harrison County, they purchase their own vehicles.
Yeah, they got to buy their own vehicle.
And they got to buy their own vehicles. So, yes, it's...
But, I mean, this is real close to a Barney Fife situation, isn't it?
I'm not going to say that.